Your company is your data. Your Wi-Fi in your office is a good entry point to
Wow.
outsiders. Intrusion
Wait,
in your
wait, wait,
network.
wait, wait, wait. Let's talk about that. What's up? What's up, everyone? How y'all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to TLG Live, where we're going to introduce you to some great, great folks and doing some amazing things that you'll never see on, they're not on CBS News, they're not on Fox 5. The media don't promote them because they're not a celebrity, but they're very smart. Smart people. You want to surround yourself with smart people. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a different room. Get into a different room so you could grow your knowledge base. So we have a gentleman today. I'm going to introduce him. Mr. Sahid. What's up, man?
What's up, Doug?
How
How are
you
you doing?
doing?
Doing good.
A lot of things is going on in the world today, cybersecurity, technology. So I want you to introduce yourself, how long you've been in that space, you know, let people know who you are and how they could get in touch with you too. We'll talk about that later, but for now, yeah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Sahid Jaffa. I have been in the technology industry for about 22 years. Uh, During the day, I run infrastructure engineering for financial services organization, but also have spent the last 15, 20 years running an organization called OptiSmart, where we help small, medium-sized businesses protect their technology and intellectual property, as well as automate and enhance their business processes.
Yes, and you've done that for me. So I want to introduce you to the world because people always ask me questions about how do you get, a lot of questions, especially when they see me on social media and stuff like that. But I have smart people around me. Folks, always remember, you got to find the people that can take care of you. So I'm going to introduce you all the time as we go to people that I work with that are helping me scale and doing things that I don't know anything about. I don't know nothing about technology. So I found a guy that understands technology, that is seasoned in the business, not just some guy off the street that did it 2 years. You heard how many years he's been in the business, right? And has a company that this is what they do, and they did that for my company. So I want to get into it. So I have some questions for you, man, and because we'll get right into it, because I
Sure.
don't like wasting time. So let's do this because a lot of business owners are watching. There's so many entrepreneurs today. Everybody's getting into entrepreneurship, but the world is different from what it was 10, 20 years ago, right? Because of technology. And since everybody's going through AI, there's a lot of noise about cybersecurity. So the first question I have for you, you know, um, what are the essential components of a company's IT infrastructure?
That's a great question. Uh, I it's not just your IT infrastructure; it's essentially your company. So, data.
Mm,
Your company is your data. Every company, if you look at the largest companies in the world, spend millions of dollars on intellectual property, patents, intellectual property, lawyers protecting their systems. Technology is just a means to an end. Most companies, I mean, you hear all the time people talking about McDonald's recipe or KFC's
right.
recipe. So when you think about a company, your intellectual property, what is unique to your company, is your secret sauce. Now, for small businesses, it's very interesting. A lot of companies don't have either the budget or the infrastructure to invest in technology stacks like most of the Fortune 100s or Fortune 500s do. A lot of us are born in the dot-com world of I consume software as a service platform. This is technology speak for all the subscription services that we sign up for. But the reality is, do you have the technical expertise? Do you even know where you're putting your data?
Mm,
If that company goes boom, how do you get your data back? Do you have backup strategies? are you becoming what we call in technology a single point of failure? So, to talk about security, really, when you look at the profile of a company, there are so many things that can come into place, but the reality is there is no one size fits all. Different companies have different requirements. So you have to profile their companies, including ones I have worked with that spend north of 30, $40 million just protecting their IP. And there are small companies and medium sized companies, no different from yours, that just need the right people to do a profile check on them, understand what their needs are, most basic, because they don't have large infrastructure, and put the right systems in place to protect them.
Right. No, I like that. And one thing I always say is never be cheap, on the things that is making you money. Right?
Oh, well, I'm laughing, right?
Right.
I remember a day you called me up, like, what you said was, I lost my laptop. My laptop's
Yes.
being stolen.
Right. They broke into my car and took my bag actually. They took
Yes.
it out of the car.
And what I said to you was, don't worry, you've just lost $3,000.
Yep.
That's the cost of your Microsoft Surface laptop. But then within minutes, you were back online. You had
Yes.
your data. You had everything.
Back.
But,
And you also shut off the.
well, you lost $3,000.
Yeah, I
The other
did.
person got a lemon, a computer that they could not use. They
Wow.
got a brick that they could not use. There was nothing they could do about it.
Mm.
But had you and I not had this conversation months in advance,
Yeah.
put systems in place that ensures that your computers, again, are just a means to an end, you can lose them. But Largo Financial Services,
Right.
now True Legacy Life,
Right.
has their data in place. You can
Yes.
steal the device, but you don't have access to the data. And we
Powerful.
have control of the device at any time. So,
Yes.
yes, and in fact, in technology, we basically say, and I think everywhere else, cheap is always expensive. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't really know you need something until you lose it, or you do not take the precautions.
Right.
And I can tell you, people have websites. People run their small businesses off of
Yes.
Gmail,
Mm.
public mail services. You see a beautiful website, and then it says, send me something at gmail.com.
Right.
And we hear every day about companies that invest millions of dollars in their technology infrastructure, their databases, or their data being hacked from insurance companies to the Microsofts of the world. Imagine what happens to small, medium sized businesses that are so excited to get into business, up and running, but don't take the right precautions.
And
Some people actually run their businesses from just emails, documents. Documents are stored in emails. They're stored in public drives like OneDrive, Google Drives. But what happens when someone that is not authorized to access
mm,
that stuff gets access to it?
whew, nightmare. That's what happens. You lose your business, your hard earned money. This is what I talk about when I talk about the holes in your financial bucket. Because you keep making money, but you're pouring money in a bucket that has a whole lot of holes in it. And what is the holes we just addressed? Security. You got to plug the holes. So man, that's great, man. I appreciate that. Let me ask you another question here. Let me see. Um, what best practice should we follow for data backup and disaster recovery?
There are so many ways, as I said. Generally, you want to do a profile on a company, understand what they're leveraging. Some businesses actually invest in infrastructure on site in their locations where they think, well, I have all my computers and servers. The old school companies have everything on site. More modern or people trying to get fast to the market have their data sitting somewhere. I'll start with large companies, say like Salesforce, you have online CRM. You use online insurance services companies as well. But So the question becomes, is that company's disaster recovery strategy enough? If they went belly up tomorrow or they were hacked and my data gets compromised or my data gets lost, how do I have a copy of that data? Do I have a copy of that data in multiple places? Or was everything in a single point of failure that I now have to start from scratch? So it is important for every company that deals in information, data sharing, to have some sort of what we call a business critical and disaster recovery or business continuity. Well, critical and business continuity and disaster recovery strategy. What's interesting though is a lot of small and medium sized businesses don't even think about this. They don't have IT shops. Some of them are not even aware of. There's a whole space called managed services providers. These are IT companies, no different from ours, that essentially cater to small and medium sized businesses that do not have their own dedicated technology staff. But guess what? Most times you leverage them to come in, maybe set up your computer systems, hook things up for you. They're gone. Break fix, something breaks, they come back, they fix it for you.
Mm.
But no one's talking about, even though the MSPs will sell this to you, but most times clients don't think, I need to protect my systems from unauthorized access, malware, viruses,
Mm-hmm.
my network. Your Wi-Fi in your office is a good entry point to
Wow.
outsiders.
Really?
But then when your network has been when you have intrusion
Wait,
in your
wait, wait,
network.
wait, wait, wait. Let's talk about the Wi-Fi. When we're sharing the Wi-Fi,
Oh, absolutely.
so when people come and they say, "Oh, can I use your Wi-Fi?" Even in your house too, because that's
Yeah.
so. Tell us about that, man, because that affects everybody.
Well, you don't have that
I know,
problem.
I know, yeah, I know. But I'm thinking for the people out there that share. Oh yeah, let me give you my Wi-Fi.
No, you don't have that problem. A good practice for any business, if you're running an office or a network space, is you want to isolate your business systems from the public.
Mm,
A good example is when somebody comes to the TLG offices,
right.
they see a guest network. Now, even though that guest network is coming off of similar devices as the rest of your infrastructure, they can access the public internet, but they're not even on the same network as your devices.
Mm,
They can see it. It's completely isolated, and they have a time window for which they can even access your network. Then they need to re authenticate.
wow, love that.
People, so there's a one of the ways that a lot of people's data is stolen is through free Wi Fi.
The one we get at the airport.
Well, forget the airport. Here's an interesting one. Have you ever been on a plane and you see more than one Wi Fi hotspot?
Mm-hmm.
The airline has its own Wi-Fi hotspot. You're seeing the airline's Wi-Fi, but take a look. Most times, you see people advertising their Wi-Fi hotspot. Sometimes it's somebody creating a hotspot from their phone to their devices, and sometimes, especially at
Wow.
airports and on airplanes and airports, someone else is baiting you. If you see a network with no password and you do not know what it is,
Wow.
chances are you don't want to join that network because the moment you do, you're creating a connection between your device and that person's device.
What?
Unless you have precautions in place. So, yes,
Most
Wi
people don't
Fi.
have precaution.
Yeah. And then, of course, I mean, even your home Wi Fi without the right security system, someone like me or anyone trained can come by your neighborhood, can spoof your network, can get on it. And the moment I'm on your network, chances are, if you don't have isolation like what you have in your office, as soon as I'm on your network, I now have access to systems on that network and I
Mm.
can do things.
Wow. Woo! Good God Almighty.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, hey, good folks, protect your family wealth. Hmm. Interesting.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
So when somebody gets, because we use our phone for everything, bank accounts, all these things. So you're saying, so while I'm at the airport, bro, yeah, the person's right there watching everything on my phone I'm doing.
Oh yeah, they can.
Wow.
I mean, just about the reality is just about everything today can be cloned depending on how close somebody gets to you and the level of technical depth that they have. Your phone can be mirrored, your SIM card.
Mm.
So, in fact, now people need to take additional precautions. I think you're one of the few people, and you're not unique. You just have people advising you on the right path.
Because I seek knowledge, man.
You know, the one-time passwords that people get over SMS
Yes.
is now one of the biggest way to hack people's resources. You use an authenticator app. That's actually not tied to your cell phone provider. So there are cases where people's bank accounts, you know, the bank send you a text message, right?
Hmm.
Have been drained by criminals and malicious agents walking into places like T-Mobile stores. You can read up on this, anyone watching. I can go and pretend that I lost my phone, but I know your phone number and I need a SIM card. If I already have access to your stuff, I only need the SIM card and be able to receive your text messages. So if I have your password, now I get your OTPs, your one time passwords.
Right. Because,
And I can do that by going to a telecommunications company like T Mobile and say, I lost my SIM card. By the time you realize this, a lot of damage can be done. Access to emails, access
but
to
don't
online
T-Mobile ask for ID?
systems.
They ask for ID.
I lost my wallet.
Ah.
This is, I'm not making this up. You can read this up. They're very recent. In fact, this is now being advertised as one of the most common way of compromising systems. Banks are being advised to
Mm.
leverage authentication apps like the one you use with Microsoft. Google's got one,
Right.
because those are not tied to your cell phone provider. It's tied to your cell phone. So I must be able to have access to your cell phone. I need your thumbprint, your face ID, or access to that system. But SIM cards and one time passwords through text messages, it's the same way you get spam calls
Right.
or
Right.
people spoofing calls. There's a lot that you can do with telecommunication. So
Wow.
it's all about, it's nothing fancy. It's about,
Right.
like you said, it's about being educated,
Right.
being in the know, somebody understanding what your business is doing, what is important that needs to be protected.
Yeah. Man, this is some great info. What? Internet, because everybody goes into it. How can we ensure reliable and secure internet and network connections?
There's an easy part, there's an easy answer to that one, and then there's a more complicated response to that one. It's funny is the internet today is equivalent to your breakfast or it's a necessity,
Yeah.
especially in the developed world. Everyone is just about connected, and in the developing world, just about everyone is as connected as well, but don't know the basic protocols around being secure online. This question can be answered in so many ways. We can go into a rabbit hole. You're a father.
Mm.
You have kids. Your
Hmm.
kids are online all the time.
Hmm.
But since we're talking more, so there's a whole, and most times people think, well, call up Verizon, call up AT&T or Comcast, and I need internet to my home. Everybody goes online, and that's it. There is a lot more. The internet to me is like one of the elements. We talk about fire, we talk about water, air.
Hmm.
The internet is another element of
Wow.
life. You use it well, it's a great tool to knowledge, communication, and connecting with each other. You misuse it,
Mm.
it could end your life. And well, you already know this. You
Yeah.
guys have heard of cyberbullying,
Yeah.
people being hacked, people's lives getting compromised from one way to the other, what you do in private, to your kids being exposed to things that probably ruin them for the rest of their lives.
True.
So there are many ways, but if we stick to a business and we look at this from a professional setting, I'll use you as a
Yeah,
good
go ahead.
example.
Use
I'll
yeah,
use your business or
right.
some of what you have in place as a good example. Comcast or whoever you use for your internet service provider
Right.
pretty much only gives you connectivity to the outside world, and that's where it stops. Your business has an intermediary systems. All the systems in here, including the room we're sitting in, cannot connect to the outside world directly. It goes through a protected set of firewalls. You've got gateways, what we call intruder detection and intruder prevention systems. Your network can be controlled from anywhere in the world, by the way, but through a special gateway as well. But you have precautions in place that ensures two things. One, and I think you see these weekly reports actually. Every
Mhm.
week it tells you there were bot traffic on your
Mhm.
network, that zero stuff were blocked or entered into your network. We put mechanisms in place to ensure that only what you want to access is accessible and only what you're allowing into your offices are coming in. This is why your guest network is also isolated.
Mm.
We're adults here. Let's say somebody come into your office,
Mhm.
right? Trying to say consume pornography because
Mhm.
they have free internet connectivity. Well, one of the things is we know whoever joins this network, even if it's on the guest network.
Right.
But the other thing is we have protocols in place that block a lot of that. But
And
let's,
plus, somebody could be in the parking lot
well, yeah.
and access because when I didn't have Wi-Fi, I sit in my parking lot and tap into the hotels next door
Well,
and tap into.
now your Wi-Fi is so good. I think we can access it in a 5 mile radius. So that's a whole discussion for another day. That is not to invite people to come connect to Dog's Wi-Fi. But think about it. So one computer on your network accesses a malicious website
Mhm.
or a malicious link. They download something. One, we're advertising your IP address and your location. Have you ever wondered? So pay attention to this and anyone. Your kids are home. Somebody on your network, the adult, goes on a malicious website. It could be somebody looking for free videos,
Right.
free
Right.
music. We're
Right.
not even talking about
Right.
pornography, right?
Right.
Somebody just looking to consume free content. You have all these ads and clickbaits that people click on.
Yes.
The moment you click on that on your network and you clicking on it on your device, you have not just exposed your device. I promise you, the next time one of your children is online, go watch their computer when they're browsing the web. They start getting exposed to the same
Same
level
thing.
of advertisement
Wow.
as you. You consume pornography, it starts streaming through your network. It assumes, well, as we download all these
Right.
cookies, other devices come up on your network, starts to assume that, oh, yeah, someone on this network is consuming because the way internet marketing and the
Right.
way malicious agents advertise their content as well. One person clicks on it, trying
Everybody
to
else gets it.
advertise and spoof you. Go to these websites, the contents be generated because it's based off of your IP address.
Mm.
So back to your question, we can spend a whole day here talking about how you protect your family,
Right.
whether you run a small business from home or you have an office. But the reality is just having a connectivity, hooking up a modem to your office and getting your computers online is not enough. You've heard of celebrities having their data compromised.
Mhm.
Guess what? iCloud, accessible from your phone. You're storing those files from your phones.
Right.
So you hear people talk about VPNs all the time.
Right.
I need to use a
That's
VPN.
yeah.
Yes, VPNs are great depending on what you use it, but even that's not enough. You just need to have a level of understanding of what you're trying to protect,
Right.
what you're exposing yourself to.
That's good. That's good. That's real good because this is important, folks, as we continue to get into this new world that we don't know anything about. A lot of us don't know anything about technology. Some people can't even open up their phone, the internet on their phone. But we're working, doing business online because that's where the world is going. So I appreciate you sharing those information. One last question for you. How can let me see. I want to ask this one. What should we look for in an IT support provider or managed service provider?
It's a very Interesting question. It's a great question. You always want to compare. I think most people, when they start thinking about technology services, which goes back to the one of the very first things we talked about, is invest it now to protect yourself for later. And cheap is always expensive.
Hmm.
I always advise people, don't always run to the cheapest solution. You can price match, you can do comparison. However, there is a common problem in the technology space and industry, which is people are always trying to sell you stuff you do not need.
Hmm.
You know what's interesting? This has got nothing to do with small or medium sized businesses. This applies at the Fortune 500 and larger companies. It applies at companies that spend billions of dollars a year in technology. So I advise clients, friends, people that I mentor, always start with a problem. And sometimes you don't know that you have a problem. I think you and I have talked about this a lot. You don't know you have a problem, but when you're seeking advice, you could easily attribute whether a problem applies to you, depending on who you're talking to. You want service providers that are not just trying to sell you things that you do not need. It has to be relevant to your business.
Right.
It has to be relevant to the problem you're trying to solve.
So, yeah.
In technology, I call it requirements. We call them the functional and the non functional requirements. Functional are basically, what does this thing do?
Mhm.
Or what do I need it to do?
Right.
So we talked about Wi Fi and network. We put perimeter security, we put network isolation here to ensure that anyone that does not have business with your internal systems cannot access the internal systems. But at the same time, you want people to enjoy your connectivity in your office. Those are your functional requirements. The things,
And we get their data when they come in.
well, yeah, an interesting part, of course, is that you have a business need, which is also, if someone's coming to my office, I want to know who came to my office, but I also want to look at them as a business opportunity. So we're
That's right.
collecting
Data.
data from them that allows you to contact them or connect back to them and see whether your services will be valuable to them. Those are your functional requirements. These are the problems you're trying to solve. Then we have the non functional requirements of, well, I this is all the stuff I want my network to do, but I don't want X to be on my network for more than 5 minutes. I want my internet connectivity to be up and running even if I lose power. So these are the secondary things of how do I keep that system up and running. So it's the same thing for any business or anyone really trying to invest in technology. You start out by looking at the problems you're trying to solve, how it relates to your business. You and I have had this conversation a lot where I think at one point somebody tried to sell you Salesforce.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to you, Douglas, unless you have $1 million a year to just spend on a
Right.
single platform,
Hmm.
this is not for you.
No.
This is for larger companies trying their CRMs and other systems that you could leverage for where you are. So sometimes people are just selling because it's the product they
Right.
have.
They're salespeople. They make money
They
off
are.
commission.
So a good MSP or a good technology service provider is not just selling. In fact, they're not in the sales business.
Right.
They're in the
Good solution.
problem solving business.
That's right.
You have a problem, we're solving the problem for you, and you're making organic sales,
Right.
which is essentially what any good salesman should be. You're solving the client's problem and you're earning their business.
That's right.
You're providing value to them, and in return, they're bringing value to your bottom line.
That's right.
But imagine I come in and I sell you a bunch of stuff that you can't use or does not apply to you. You're
Right.
paying for it. That's also the way you destroy your reputation.
That's right. Man, listen, I appreciate this so much. This is something that a lot of folks think about but don't know how to go about it. So I mean, I've been blessed to kind of connect with the right people before. For all of you that come on my inbox on LinkedIn trying to sell me this, sell me that, listen. Before I buy anything, I talk to my tech guy. See him right here? Contact him if you want to sell me any technology. I'm good. Because if he say no, then I say no. You know, he's also my partner. Sometimes we're going to talk about business, relationship. We're going to talk about that. But folks, listen, today, I hope you enjoyed this. You know, I'm going to have Saeed share his company again so that you all be able to follow him, understand, find him on LinkedIn, where to get him. But I hope you understand and you like this type of podcast. Because what I'm doing, you know, because I see a lot of podcasts out there, I see it, but they're always hitting up all these celebrities and all these things. But there's some real folks that know what they're doing. And you need to be in front of real people that will help you, not just, oh, you know, and nothing against the celebs. I love them, you know, but we need to deal with real people. So, Mr. Say, tell them a little bit more about how to get in touch with you, how to connect with you, you can help their business, you know, like you've helped my business so they could continue to scale and focus on what they focus on best, which is making money. Because that's our business. We just want to make money. All the other stress, I don't want to deal with it. I want you to have the stress.
Well,
Then you
and
send me the invoice.
well, I think by now you've come to learn that those invoices are stress relievers.
Yes,
They make you sleep at night, but you've also realized that you can call at any time of the day,
that's true.
any time of the day, and your problems get solved by someone from our organization.
That's right.
We're reachable at any time. Again, company is OptiSmart Solutions, and you can reach us at info@optismartsolutions.com. We'll provide a lot more of the details on how
Yes, I'll
you
put it
can
in the
access us. In fact, we're just going through a rebuild of our platform right now, but you can access us at any time. You can also find my profile on LinkedIn, which gives you a good insight on my background and experience as well. And reality is, we solve problems. We don't sell products.
Mm,
We solve problems. So, to your question about how we can help people, I don't have anything to sell until I have a conversation with you, understand where you are, what you're doing.
that's right. I love that.
And then I could tell you if I'm the right person or if our organization is the right
Fit.
entity to solve problems for you. And we can also, with a smile, always send you down the right path if we're not the right people.
I love it.
We don't want to waste anybody's time.
That's right. Man, listen, I appreciate that so much. For those of you that are checking in, listen, if you want a topic that you want us to share and help you with, just send me a message. Make sure if you're watching this and you're getting a lot of value, hey, hit the subscribe button, follow the screen, wherever screen you see. If you see it on the reels on social media, on IG, make sure you follow. Click follow. Boop. Follow his IG, follow his Facebook if you're on Facebook, but most important on YouTube because we're gonna sit on there. We're gonna be on the podcast channel. But subscribe so that you can see more of this. All right. So it's gonna be on our wherever you're watching this, you're gonna see it. Now send me questions that you might want or someone that you know that they're good at what they do, they're experts in, but they don't have the exposure, right? Send them to us. We'll, profile them and help them get in front of the public so we could promote their business. Because guess what? Small business owners are the heartbeat of America. I'm a small business owner. Want to be a large business owner. That's the goal, right? So listen, see you at the top. Let's continue to win. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me,
We're
man.
gonna have you
Always
back
a
though.
pleasure.
We're gonna have you
Oh,
back to
absolutely.
come talk some stuff.
Let's hear what people think about what we've talked
Yeah.
about today. Happy to answer any questions, any topics that people want to talk about.
Awesome.